How you doing, folks? My name's Jesse. Vlog entry number 21, April 17th. What have I been working on? Well, I was watching one of Uncle Larry's videos where he talked to Gordon, and Gordon was talking about chord substitutions. And that one video is like an undergraduate course right there in like 10 or 15 minutes. And I still have stuff to unpack with it, but it kind of triggered my memories about substituting chords for the 5 chord in a 1-6-2-5 progression. So if you're in the key of A, 1, C sharp minor 6, B minor for the 2, and then E for the 5, right? And I remember, it tickled a memory where Kenny Jones, the guitar player who was around this area for the longest time, talked about substituting like basically the flat 2 for the 5 chord. So and at the time he showed me that, it really didn't mean anything to me. It didn't push me in any direction, move me in any way, shape, or form. But like 15 years later, I get it, Ken. And then if you take the 5 of that chord, you end up with F substituting for the E. So you end up with whoops. Now that voicing isn't great, like it sort of works. I found the voicing worked well if I was going. I liked it a little better there, just because it felt like it was going up instead of kind of jumping around. What am I going to use this for? I don't know. But I feel this need to expand my musical vocabulary a little bit, and so it probably would be a good thing if I worked on doing that. Now, what am I doing it with? Well, I'm doing it with a Gibson Marauder. I picked up this guitar on eBay last year from a guy in Georgia. And it has an interesting provenance. You notice the BP on it? This guitar once belonged to Charlie Parker's youngest son, Baird Parker. Baird lived in the Lansdale area. Died in 2014, I think. The guy I bought it from said he got it from a pawn shop in Lansdale. And it turns out Baird's home address and stuff and his name, Charlie Baird Parker, are on the inside of the truss rod cover. And I was like, man, how fascinating is that? And I look at this fingerboard, and he put a lot of time on the fingerboard, didn't he? I mean, like the C notes kind of dug in, the E and the A notes are dug in. Like, there's all kinds of wear, really legit wear on this fingerboard. I owned a Marauder back in the early 2000s, and I was disappointed with it. And I think because at the time I wanted it to sound like a Gibson, like a Les Paul. And it didn't at all. I didn't appreciate the pickups at the time because I was looking for a different sound. And I didn't appreciate the switching system, but I really appreciate it now. You know, like that's the neck position. It almost sounds like the two position on a Strat. But it doesn't. It has a sound all its own. I admire the L6S and I admire the Marauder and I admire the S1 because Bill Lawrence, like everybody says he was competing with the Fender market because it's a bolt-on and they were probably cheaper to produce or whatever. But I don't think Bill was trying to do that. These pickups are really different, right? I'm pretty sure they have neodymium magnets. And the resistance is lower than typical humbucking pickups. We've got a humbucker here. We got a sort of a stacked humbucker or split rail here in the bridge, so it's dead quiet. And at the time when I had the chicken head knob where it kind of just blends the pickups together, I was just like, I don't get it. But I'm older now and I get it. Rolling it back just adds a little more presence, a little more clarity. The middle position. This is the perfect guitar for that. Just such chime. The guitars had some nicks and dings. The guitars had some nicks and dings to it. And there have been some customizations. 5 Grover mini tuners were added. Not 6. 5. I look at that and I go, what was happening there? And I guess maybe they only wanted to replace the ones that they felt weren't holding a tune properly. You know, like the A one's still good, you know. One screw doesn't match. There are 3 Phillips head screws and 1 flathead screw holding the neck on. Other than that, I think 1 screw here might have been swapped out for something else. Just tons of fingerboard wear. Like, he put serious time on this. And I looked, there's an interview on YouTube with him that some guy did. Not much of an interview. I looked for his music. There's Baird Parker on SoundCloud, but I don't know if it's him or not. And I think about what must it have been to have been Charlie Parker's son. You know, I did some digging and I found a quote from his mother that said something to the effect of there was a lot of pressure on him to be like his dad. And that must be really hard, you know? And I don't know what he did with his music, but I know he put the time in. So, I like this guitar. I like the sound of this guitar, but I haven't used it much this year. Really haven't. Not sure why. Maybe because it's not mine. I don't know. I thought about putting it up for sale, and then I said, you know, I don't know the history of this instrument. I mean, I know what the guy on eBay told me. Was he telling me the truth or not? I don't know. One time, I bought a stolen guitar, not knowing it was stolen. I had it for 5, 6 months and I sold it. A couple years later, I found it on Facebook. Somebody had bought it from the person I sold it from, and they had done some modifications to it, but it had been uniquely modded in such a way that I instantly recognized it. And then a year after that, a friend of mine posted something on Facebook where she said that a friend of hers had had his guitar stolen some years ago and was looking for it. And she had a picture of him and that guitar. And my heart dropped because I helped get that guitar out of the state and didn't even know it. So I contacted the person who had the guitar, told him what had happened, gave him the contact information for the guy who used to own the guitar. And I guess they got things straightened out. And I didn't want that to happen again. That's a horrible feeling. I did not want that to happen again. So I did some digging and I found Baird's daughters. And I contacted them, and hopefully we're going to get it back home soon. And I feel good about that. Getting it back where it belongs. You know, I'm not trying to make money off of it. I'm going to try and get back most of what I got when I bought it. You know, they seem amenable. You know, having lost my father back in 2015, I can imagine how important this guitar might be. And I'm glad I got it because I got a chance to revisit my opinion of this guitar and amend it. It's it's more than I thought it was back in 2004. And while I appreciate it, I don't know if it's me, which is kind of a good thing to learn. So the next time I see a Marauder that might be on have a decent price, I might be like, yeah, I'm good. I don't need another one. So been gonna be doing some downsizing and you know, upgrading a little bit. You know. So anyway, I hope you found this useful. Let me know if you ever had one of these. My name's Jesse. I'll talk to you later.